The year is 1983. Andrew and Peggy Chern employ the culinary talents of Chef Andrew Town to make the original Chinese orange chicken entree. The team employs and uses inspiration from the Hunan province in China. As we eat our favorite foods, we have the immigrants' hard work and influence to thank. Good morning, my name is Kaylee Cooper.
Good morning, my name is Juan Montoya.
Good morning, my name is Bernardo Bello.
Good morning, my name is Catherine Hansen. Our big focus question is, in what ways has immigration affected culinary diversity in the United States? Through the normalization and diffusion of immigrant cuisines in the United States, immigration amplified culinary diversity and stimulated overall change which affected every aspect of the United States lifestyle.
Focusing in on a societal perspective, one aspect of immigration's impact is its ethnic influence, one of these things being the broadening of the American diet. Margaret Broussard's journal, Food and Culture Interconnections, explains if Spain were to adopt an American snack such as Jell-O or cornflakes, the culture would have to accommodate for that. A change in diet means a change in culture. As a variety of different ingredients, cooking styles, etc. are introduced, what is perceived as the American diet grows and changes. Additionally, immigration promotes the acceptance and implementation of cultures through ethnic recipes. Both the journal's presentation of ethnic authenticity and ethnic cuisine, the significant other, share the extent to which immigrant-owned restaurants and businesses demonstrate the institutionalization of alien cultures as well as ethnic foods becoming a measure of one's tolerance for cultural diversity. As shown in the map provided by Yelp, there's a very dense population of Chinese food restaurants, especially in the East Coast range and the majority of the West. The immense amount of these businesses feeds directly into the American culture, adopting Chinese food as an American dish, a common cultural occurrence. Americanization. Pictured here is Panda Express, a very popular Chinese chain. Beside this is Mr. K's Chinese and Sushi. This is a family-owned restaurant here in Lake Nona. As we see this is what most American consumers are going to want to see. This is what they're going to eat, this is what they're going to take. Here is a more authentic alternative. As we see, this is orange chicken, broccoli, and beef, lo mein, and rice. Here, I couldn't tell you what this dish is called. This is because of Americanization. This is a more authentic experience with Chinese tradition, and it doesn't conform to societal pressures as Panda Express does.
As Kaylee said, the Americanization of ethnic cuisine has had a profound impact on American cuisine. As this map from the Culinary Historians of New York shows, you see a map with different dishes established to each state of the US. And as you can see, a couple of states have dishes that apply to them that are actually not originating in the US. As you can see, some examples being Texas, which has chile con carne, which is a Mexican dish, Illinois and Connecticut, which are represented by different styles of pizza, which is an Italian dish, and Leipzig, which is in North Dakota, represented by a Norwegian dish. As Jan Peters, a Dutch immigrant, said, the term hybridity was first applied to agriculture, genetics, and combinations of different animals. The process of hybridity involves mixing, blending, and merging. Presently, it mainly focuses on cultural hybridity, and that's exactly what the map on the previous slide showed. Although ethnic cuisine is common in the US, most immigrants find it difficult to cook their traditional dishes. Usually, there's a certain product or ingredient that needs to be used that is either really hard to find or doesn't exist in the US. That's why Boyang Chow, Elena Zalatea, and Marcel Hazen wrote these books on how to cook their culture's cuisine with the American with the American products and etc. As Susan Kaslik, a Slovak immigrant, said, although older generations continue with their ethnic foodways longer, generally all immigrants find their traditional foodways altered to some degree. That's why they wrote these books. In her book, Boy presented terms like stir fry to help push Chinese cuisine into the American mainstream, and Lena wrote multiple cookbooks about Mexican and mixed culture foods, and Marcella continues the journey towards a deeper understanding of perfections of Italian food.
Many immigrants strive to protect and preserve their culture in order to maintain it alive. This is known as cultural sustainability. This allows for the creation of international restaurants and multicultural markets like the Radical Market located in Maryland. As talked about by Psycho Enforcement and a professor at the University of Maryland, she demonstrated how these ethnic markets further promote economic development by satisfying consumer demand, as these products and food provided mainly help play a significant role in immigrants' identity, promoting heavy consumerism. Other immigrants throughout prolonged periods of time lead to the creation of other cultures. A substantial example of this can be the creation of Tex-Mex cuisine. As talked about by CHD Expert, a business data company, as of April 2017, there were approximately 60,000 Mexican restaurants recorded in the United States, heavily prolonged around the southern border of the United States. This demonstrates a significant impact that Mexican culture and Tex-Mex cuisine has had on increasing local and national economies in the United States. Although many immigrants have the luxury of having their national dishes provided, and some others the creation of their own dishes, what about the immigrants that don't? This also helps immigrants. This leads to immigrants having enormous amounts of social pressure that forces them to adapt. This is also known as acculturation. As demonstrated by this graph of the Journal of Health and Social Behavior, we can see how immigrants in New Jersey have reported substantial largest amounts of pressure in social settings to accommodate to foods rather than at home or at school. This further promotes local economies, uplifting habits by immigrants.
Immigration has also brought forth many cultural impacts in the United States, one big one being ethnic supermarkets. William Forson states that ethnic markets not only serve as multilingual transnational hubs for the exchange of goods, services, and capital, but also are key in which the ways immigrants preserve their cultural lifeways. It has also been recorded that the majority of restaurant workers are immigrants. As you can see in this graph, by the U.S. Census and Census Bureau projections, the ratio between whites and minorities have greatly changed since 1970, not only appending to the culinary, but also ethnic and cultural diversity. Demonstrated in this picture by Sam Wardley, published on Epicurious, ethnic markets provide inclusivity and help conserve ethnic foods while also forming cultural coteries. It's a place where people of the community with similar interests can connect. In this table, provided by the Boston University, you can see the great impact of the different ethnic foods that have been introduced by immigrants in the United States. For example, Mexican, Chinese, and Thai food, which are now very significant in the food community today in the U.S. Americans are also doing their part in accepting and investing their curiosity in unfamiliar cultural dishes.
As demonstrated, culinary diversity in the United States has increased significantly. Consumer demands for certain types of food grow faster than others. This is due to the consequence of immigrants adapting similar consuming patterns as their ethnicities. As demonstrated by this graph, we can see 4 types of food: milk, meat, fruit, and vegetables, and how different ethnicities throughout long periods of time significantly consume this product rather than the other 3, in comparison to the other 3 ethnicities.
As we saw, immigration has affected culinary diversity not only by introducing but expanding cuisine from ethnicities all around the world. This has had a variety of impacts not just in the United States, but also to the people that live here. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Buenas tardes. We'll start with Kales and work our way across. Kales, can you tell me how you decided to include Catherine's paper or IRR into your overall presentation?
Yes, Catherine discusses the cultural impacts, which obviously has a huge impact on culinary diversity. Culture is what's brought along with these immigrants, and culture is what these recipes feed into. And my societal perspective goes hand in hand with that, along with economic and the different ethnicities. And this furthered our idea of how immigration actually did skyrocket the culinary diversity in the U.S.
All right, thank you. One, reflecting on everyone's work, which person's paper gave you the best understanding of what you guys chose as a topic?
Reflecting on Kelly's paper, I believe it had the greatest impact in our overall presentation because as she talks about the social impacts and implications of culinary diversity in the United States, we can see how different cultures have affected socially but also increased the culinary diversity inside of the United States.
Bernardo, do you have an example of one of their IRR, something from their IRRs that you didn't use, and then why didn't you use it?
Yeah, we actually didn't use one piece of my IRR because the claim was about the preserving of traditions, and it kind of like wears off of our overall point of our presentation. That was like mainly of like the mixture and Americanization of culinary.
Okay. And Catherine, if you had a fifth member of this team, what could they bring to the presentation that would have added?
If we had a fifth member, we would have them talk about religion and how bringing certain religions to the United States would involve bringing certain taboos and restrictions, as some religions are strict and have dietary restrictions.